Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely fascinating biography, the life of Master Lin Dian Quan. He is the foundational leader of the Nigeria spiritual domain. And let me tell you, this isn't just some dry timeline of historical dates. No, it's this incredible narrative of total transformation. We're talking a journey from the absolute darkest depths of poverty right to the heights of international spiritual leadership. So let's jump right in.
Now, here's a question that's literally haunted philosophers for millennia. Can a person truly change their destiny? When you look at the source material on Master Lin's life, this question is basically the central pillar of his entire journey. The texts present his life as a real-world case study, answering that exact philosophical dilemma. But to really get how he answered it, we first need to understand the worldview we're dealing with here. So, the source texts operate on a very specific foundational premise. They outlined that human beings are essentially trapped in a continuous karmic cycle of suffering, bound by the forces of birth and death, which you might know as samsara. According to this framework, true liberation, it's not about racking up material wealth. It's about elevating the soul to finally escape that endless loop.
There's actually this really striking quote in the Dharma texts we've reviewed. It says, "People fear death, ghosts fear birth." Wow, right? It perfectly captures that unbroken, dizzying loop of worldly existence. The living are terrified of the end, but the spirits, they're terrified of being pulled right back into the physical world of suffering. Escaping that cycle is exactly what spiritual seekers are trying to do. And for Master Lin, this wasn't just some abstract, high-level theory. As we're going to see, it was a harsh reality forged in the absolutely extreme hardships of his early life.
Section 1. The Crucible of Youth. The biography paints a picture of his beginnings that goes way beyond just an impoverished childhood. It was a profound, almost relentless manifestation of worldly suffering. Honestly, it's the kind of start that would permanently break most people. The timeline in the source documents is just staggering. At only 4 years old, his father passes away from a severe stomach illness. By the time he's seven, he's forced to work in the dark, terrifying coal mines of Rufang just to help his family survive, literally dodging falling rocks for meager living. And then, at 8 years old, tragedy strikes again when his mother passes away. He's left utterly orphaned, relying on his aunt and uncle, completely stripped of anything resembling a normal childhood. The text notes these experiences implanted a deep, lingering fear in him, but also a profound realization about just how fragile human life really is.
Section 2. From orphan to entrepreneur.
But here's the thing. He didn't just surrender to a bleak destiny. Through sheer, incredible grit, he clawed his way out of poverty and actually established a highly successful beauty salon. The source specifically mentions his salon was booming. We're talking 3 to 4 tables operating constantly, serving famous movie stars, politicians, and wealthy business people. The tips were just overflowing. From a worldly perspective, you'd think he completely conquered his destiny, right? He hit massive material success. But the texts highlight a crucial contrast. Despite all that wealth, he still felt this lingering spiritual void. That fear of the endless cycle of suffering we talked about, it was still there, waiting to be addressed.
Section 3. The turning point. Receiving the Tao. This brings us to the pivotal moment that completely flipped his trajectory from a wealthy salon owner to a visionary spiritual leader. On July 18, 1961, guided by his mother-in-law, he and his wife, who was actually holding their 1-month-old son at the time, participated in a ceremony to receive the Tao. The source texts define this impartially as a profound spiritual awakening. It's a moment meant to open innate wisdom, connect the individual to their original divine nature, and ultimately provide the path to break free from the cycle of reincarnation. For Master Lin, this was not just a ritual. It was exactly the answer he'd been searching for his whole life.
What's really crucial here is how he reacted to this awakening. Remember, because he was forced into the coal mines at age 7, Master Lin severely lacked formal education. But the text reveals this incredibly touching detail. Driven by his newfound spiritual purpose, he carried a dictionary with him absolutely everywhere. He painstakingly taught himself to read and understand these complex, profound Dharma texts, literally word by word. His dedication was absolute.
Section 4. Forging a spiritual demong.
That intense personal dedication soon radiated outward. He began the immense struggle of building what would eventually become the Nigeria, or Chang Sheng, spiritual domain. And the text provides some vivid accounts of his hands-on dedication. This was definitely not a leader who just sat behind a desk. In the early days, he would travel miles on a bicycle, carrying nail polish to sell to beauty salons. But his real goal? To preach the Dharma to the salon owners. The source actually humorously notes that he would talk so long about spirituality, his nail polish would completely dry out and become totally unsellable. He literally built the foundation of this spiritual community from the ground up, using his own hands and his own tireless voice. Now, enthusiasm alone doesn't build a lasting institution. One of his greatest achievements, according to the biography, was his ability to modernize the organization. He realized pretty quickly that relying on a single charismatic leader just wasn't sustainable. So he established a highly structured system. He specifically created 3 main groups and 10 specialized departments. This was a real game changer. It transformed the movement from individual leadership into a massive engine of collective progress, making sure everyone had a distinct role in spreading the teaching. When you compare his humble early practice to the sprawling, magnificent gates of the Chang Sheng Temple today, you really see the sheer scale of his achievement. It is the physical manifestation of decades of unwavering spiritual work. A true testament to what that young orphan boy from the coal mines managed to build.
Section 5. Global expansion. But, the story doesn't stop within the borders of his home country. 18. That's the number of countries the Nizhoriya spiritual domain successfully expanded into under his guidance and vision. The source texts proudly list international centers popping up in incredibly diverse locations. We're talking dedicated followers gathering in Canada, the United States, Australia, Thailand, Cambodia, the Philippines, and a whole lot more. It is a massive global legacy. He took a localized spiritual pursuit and, thanks to that structured system we mentioned, allowed it to scale across the globe, bringing his message of spiritual liberation to entirely new cultures.
Section 6. A legacy of virtue.
So, what was the internal engine driving Master Lin? Well, it's beautifully summarized in this direct quote from his teachings. He said, "I am good to you, you should be good in return. If you are not, I am still good to you. Even if you continue to not be good to me, I will be even better to you." This wasn't just some nice-sounding platitude. It was his actual operational strategy. The texts detail how he faced immense criticism, misunderstandings, and physical hardships, and yet he never retaliated. His commitment to virtue and kindness was just absolute. We started this explainer by asking if a person can truly change their destiny. We've seen a boy who lost absolutely everything, who toiled in darkness, rise up to build a global spiritual network dedicated to ending human suffering. The source material presents his life as the ultimate proof that with profound realization and unyielding effort, destiny isn't a cage, it's a canvas. So I'll leave you with this. Knowing this incredible journey, how will you forge your own destiny? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.